Hi everyone, welcome back to the Football Tribe UG channel. Robert Kesakos is your usual suspect once again. Hope you've had a wonderful weekend. In which we did witness plenty of action, including Barcelona's 7-1 victory over Valencia. Quite emphatic result in there. Just in the same weekend where Barcelona, the lady side, did hammer Real Madrid's lady side by I think 5-0. So, anyways, brilliant stuff there from the world of football. So, we are speaking matters Arsenal. I do personally believe that VAR is more to blame than Michael Oliver in Arsenal's incident against Wolves. Now, Arsenal did suffer a straight red card to their youngster, the 18-year-old, that's Miles Lewis Skelly, the midfielder, come left back, when he was handed a straight red card for what was deemed to be a dangerous tackle, I think, against Matt Doherty towards the end of the first half. There, of course, Arsenal were coming from a corner kick, a set piece that they did fail to convert, and then as Wolves ready themselves to catch them on the counter or on the break, that's when Lewis Skelly makes the tactical foul to Matt Doherty, and then he is handed a straight red card. Now, there's two sides to it. One, of course, Michael Oliver does take a certain level of blame to it because given the position he was in, I did get the feeling that he saw quite fairly clearly what had happened. But also, on the other hand, I do give him a benefit of doubt. While with the fans and perhaps other analysts, perhaps the VAR and all the rest of the world get the benefit of watching replays in different angles, oftentimes referees have one flash of a second to see an action and then make a decision based off what they've seen in that moment. Maybe from where he was standing, it appeared to be a very dangerous tackle. However, from a different angle, yes, it was another bad tackle. It was a tactical foul in itself, not that he was in any way late for the challenge or what. He was intentional in what he was doing. No intent to harm the player, just to stop him from progressing, and it wasn't a goal scoring opportunity. They were not anywhere close to the goal and anything of that sort. So it was quite bizarre that he gave a straight red card for that incident. Now, of course, Arsenal fans have been, up in arms online. For those of you that care to follow the conversation, saying Marco Oliver shouldn't referee more of their games because he does continue to give them, dubious red cards. He did brandish one, he did brandish out one to Gabriel Martinelli a couple of seasons back for two fouls in a close incident. So what happened at that time is Gabriel Martinelli, makes a foul, and then the referee gives an advantage. And in the process of that advantage, as he is tracking back, he commits another foul. So he gives him 2 yellow cards for the first incident and the second incident, and then gives him a straight red card. Quite bizarre. At that time, again, we did argue the same case. And so many other red cards. There's one he gave to Leandro Trossard in the first leg when Arsenal were facing Manchester City in that 2-all draw. So, one that really cost Arsenal dearly because, he blows the whistle. There's the Man City player still on the floor. I think it was Bernardo Silva, if I'm not mistaken. And then Leandro Trossard, in a nick of time, kicks that ball away. Of course, the whistle's just gone. You're already in motion. We give you the benefit of doubt. We give you the benefit of doubt that you're already in motion. So it's not a reflex action that you are going to pull away your leg. But anyway, he gave him a second booking for kicking the ball away and subsequently a red card. So he's been at the fair end of, I think, 5 red cards against Arsenal in the 55 games he's officiated over them and that kind of thing. But as far as yesterday's incident goes, I want to blame this entirely on VAR because that's the reason they were put in place. That when the referee makes such big a mistake, they are there to correct him. They are there to speak in his ear and say, you may want to look at this again. We are going to send you to the monitor and you see for yourself what just happened. If you maintain the same decision, we'll let you be. But we do think this is worth a second look for you from different angles. But in whatever work VAR did yesterday or did not do to deem that worthy of a red card was very unbecoming. And again, I don't know why. Sometimes they take time to look at petty things, and then in moments where it matters the most, they are somehow slumbering. They're just sleeping on the job. So for me personally, I do think that Michael Oliver gets to see the incident. We will never know his particular angle, how he sees that, to judge it's a dangerous tackle or not. But in his judgment, it is a dangerous tackle, so he brandishes a straight red card. While everyone else thought at least it was going to be a caution for a yellow card. That notwithstanding, so VAR, who have the benefit of reviewing the incident in all kinds of slow motions from all kinds of angles, that's your role to say, hey, mate, I think you may want to have a second look at this one, because it could be that you've erred in your judgment to give out that straight red card. We do think maybe it was a caution. They may not even necessarily tell him what ought to be done in that moment, but as simple as telling him to go and have a second look at that particular incident is worthwhile, or it could perhaps have swayed Michael Oliver to reverse his decision of the straight red card and issue out a yellow card instead. Now, the reason as to why we are insistent on the VAR is because it was a straight red card. Unlike Gomez's incident, which was even worse a tackle than Miles Lewis Skelly's incident, where he brandishes a second booking to send him off. Here's how it works. If a player is sent off through 2 yellow cards, the VAR is requested not to intervene whatsoever, whether the referee is right or wrong, whether they believe otherwise or whatsoever, they do not intervene because it's 2 cautions. That's just how the rules are. But if the question or the incident is such as of that of Miles Lewis Skelly, that it is a straight red card, then VAR ought to intervene and review the incident before play is resumed. But it doesn't look like they did their job yesterday. For me, in my personal view, they didn't do it. Nonetheless, Arsenal will be happy that they walked away with all 3 points thanks to Ricardo Carafiori's strike on the day that won them all 3 points. Otherwise, again, like we had spoken in the preview to that particular game, Paul Salabia did miss a golden opportunity, or was close to opening the scoring for Wolverhampton Wanderers, while Kai Havertz was a culprit on the other end. 3 headers, one being saved by Jose Sa, who we again spoke about in the preview as being a very good goalkeeper, while the other 2 were off target. Perhaps, especially for the first one, I did think maybe he should have hit the target on that one, but maybe it wasn't his day. So I won't really give him, blame him that much for missing those chances. Leandro Trossard seems to start to have a knack of finding Kai Havertz in that box, especially when it comes to crosses. So we do hope that they can keep that up. But what will matter most, of course, Mikel Arteta wasn't happy with the decision because Miles Lewis Skelly will likely miss that game against Newcastle, I think in the return leg of the Carabao Cup, and another, Premier League fixture before he returns from that suspension, unless Arsenal appeal and get the red card lifted. But anyway, that goal from Ricardo Carafiori did help Arsenal stay in second place and sort of keep, tabs with Liverpool, who, by the way, did smash Ipswich Town by 4-1 on the day. Cody Gakpo getting a brace in that one, while Dominic Szoboszlai was the other on target, as well as Mo Salah. to ensure that Liverpool walk away with maximum points ahead of their Merseyside derby with Everton midweek this week. That game that they do have in hand, they get to play it, and if they do win it, they will be 9 points ahead of a second place Arsenal. And if they draw or lose all 3 points, then it will be a gap of 6 or 7 points depending on what the result will be. So I know all Arsenal fans across the world, and perhaps other fans that do not wish Liverpool to lift the title, will be rooting for Everton and David Moyes on the day to ensure that Liverpool do not win that particular fixture. Otherwise, do let me know what your thoughts were on that particular incident of Arsenal's red card to Miles Lewis Skelly. Personally, I do put the blame on VAR for not correcting their fellow official in Michael Oliver, and then maybe again his assistant on the sidelines. I do give him the benefit of the doubt that maybe he wasn't close enough to see the incident well enough to guide his his boss. That's the center referee, Michael Oliver. But you expect that VAR officials did see enough to be able to guide Michael Oliver, but they did not do that. So let me know what your thoughts are on that particular incident, and whether you think that Michael Oliver was the one to blame entirely, or you also put the blame on VAR, or any other view that you may have on that particular incident. Otherwise, stay blessed, and I'll see you next time. Have a blessed new week.